Yo, guys, what is up? It is your host, Dwayne Lanham of the Night Talk, here in front of your guys' eyes for the first time, special edition inside the hospital. Guys, what's up? So, I just wanted to come on here and kind of give an auxiliary update of what's going on. I know you guys probably have not seen me in like the past week. So, I'm in the hospital right now, as you guys can tell. Um, I'm hooked up. Let's see if I can show it. Hooked up to that screen right there. That's the screen I'm hooked up to for EEG purposes, which is what is attached to my head. So when I have a seizure, it is hopefully picking them up and recording it. I am also attached to a heart monitor, a battery operated and owned heart monitor. So, guys, it's kind of been a struggle lately. I'm sitting here in a hospital bed debating on whether I wanted to go live. I was supposed to go live last night, but I do have some interesting things to talk about while we're doing the show. And I'm gonna kind of shut my battery saver off here in a minute. Power options. That way this does not die. But guys, so okay, there we go. So guys, they are trying to enact the Insurrection Act for President Donald J. Trump, which would mean Pence would enact the 25th Amendment. Now, let me get Scarlett because she'll probably want to get in on this. Hold on, guys. BRB. So sorry about that, guys. I was texting Scarlett, who we all love and adore here on the Freedom Revolution Network. So, like I said, guys, they're trying to enact the 25th Amendment. You should rename your title the Night/Day Talk Time Edition. You know what, Pam? I was going to. Hold on, guys. You guys got to kind of move with me. Oh, shit. A little bit. So I could plug this in, and when the net goes to die, I can switch over to this. You guys are just kind of moving with me at this point. I was not even prepared to go on here. I wasn't even thinking about it. Oh, back up. Yes, we are on YouTube's. Yes, we are on YouTube as well, as long as Twitch D Live. Twitch D Live, Facebook. So they are wanting to pull the Insurrection Act and Donald J. Trump, which we're gonna go pull up here. Okay, put that there. Best battery life. Cool. I have an hour and 25 minutes to do this. So, when you look at the Insurrection Act, we're going to go research the Insurrection Act. So, The Insurrection Act of 1807 is a United States federal law that empowers the President of the United States to deploy the U.S. military and federalized National Guard troops in the states in particular circumstances such as to suppress civil disorder, insurrection, or rebellion. The act provides a statutory exception to the Post-Commodus Act of 1878, but also they're trying to impeach Donald Trump as well in the process of this. Now, mind you, sorry guys, I'm also biting at food. Now, mind you, Trump only has like 8 days left. 8 or 7 days left until he is out because Biden would take over. So why impeach? Why impeach Trump? Why impeach Trump when he only has when he literally only has 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. A week left. A week left in office. So, I'm doing some digging. So watch this. Why are they calling for, if I can spell this right. Oh, I need to shut that off. Sorry, guys. You're also hearing my TV in my background. Oops. All right. Here we go. You guys can see what I'm doing as well. All right. These are the members calling for impeachment or the 25th Amendment to be invoked for Donald J. Trump. The vast majority of Democratic lawmakers are calling for President Donald Trump to be removed from office, either through impeachment or the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, after his violent supporters breached the Capitol last Wednesday. A notable have stayed mum, including President-elect Biden's nominees, who still hold their seat for the time being, a couple of other moderates who have around utterance ensure as an alternative route. Here's a look at the members who have come out in support of impeaching the president. House Republicans: Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, Liz Chesney of Wyoming, John Katko of New York, Fred Upton of Michigan, Jamie Herrera Butler of Washington, Democrats, Davidson Stone of Rhode Island, Ted Lieu of California, Jared Nadler of New York, She Jackson Lee of Tennessee, Stephen Cohen Lee of Texas, Stephen Cohen of Tennessee, Hank Johnson of Georgia, Ted Deutsch of Florida, Lucy McBath of Georgia, Pramila Jayapal of Washington, Jamie Raskin of Maryland, Joe Neguse of Colorado, Veronica Escobar of Texas, Mary Gay Scanlon of Pennsylvania, Madeline Dean of Pennsylvania, Sylvia Garcia of Texas, Monterey Jones of New York, Corey Bush of Missouri, Earl Bloomer of Oregon, Catherine Clark of Massachusetts. So see, guys, like all of these people, there is over literally 208 Democrats in the House, and how many in the Senate? 8. Oh no. 8 people in the Senate. Right, TLO. No, you're right. It is a political show of force, TLO, and I've had the time to be able to sit here and research while sitting in the hospital. This is a little a political show of force, and that's the crazy thing is like they're pushing for this, but at the same time, all of us, all of us are going like, oh, everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna go back to normal. Well, let me take the last bite of my food. I was eating. Everybody was like, oh, this is gonna be great. And here we are. Look at that. Civil war, civil unrest, riots at every capital in the 50 states on the 17th through the 19th. Me and Tim were talking about this yesterday. Tim from the Original Red Pill Show. We were talking about it. This is how it's going to go. Biden's going to win. Biden's going to come in office. Guns are going to be stripping. Police are going to be stripped. We're going to be forced into concentration camps. That is literally the order of what it's going to be. It's going to go from a democracy to communism. Communism to dictatorship. Dictatorship to a worldwide ruler. That is literally how it's going to go, and we're not going to be able to say or do anything about it because of that fact. And let me see if hold on, let me go to my Google Messages because I could text him. Oh, that's an error. Hi. So it's so he can't run. It's so he can't run again on 2024 as well, as they want him to have no power to do anything to him, and no power to do anything to them now. Right, Gene, and I get that, and I understand that, but so here's my thinking of behind the lines. Behind the lines of things is that they're doing things for a reason because it's going to go into a straight dictatorship. Now, if it goes into a straight dictatorship, I literally showed you guys the Songbird trailer. Do I really have to go back to the Songbird trailer again to show you guys what's going on? Okay. This is literally what here's soon in the making. That's literally what's going to happen is Songbird. That's what life is going to literally be like. And there's nothing that we can say nor do to stop it. I mean, we can stop it. We just all have to come together and agree on the same terms. Because of the fact that if we don't agree on the same terms like we're doing now, we can obviously, America's one of the most undivided, one of the most divided countries. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know how to put it. I don't know how else to put it. I'm waiting for see if TLL's gonna pop on and see if Scarlett's gonna pop on. I'm going to my Facebook now. So I can message Scarlett, so I'm not really grabbing my phone. It's the last password I know. What? Okay. Obviously forgot my password. Continue. I'll enter my code here in a minute. Cool. Is this only in the USA? This is worldwide. Just got my big S TV. TLO's got a brand new TV. This is USA that I'm talking about right now. Which is weird because if you really flip it, sorry guys, I got to look at this code for a minute and I can't. I'm trying to get stuff all together. Oh, TLO messaged me back. I'm getting yelled at for not looking at my Facebook live feed comments. This is horrible.
Good morning, Dwayne.
Good morning, TLO. I know this is something you probably did not want to be doing early this morning.
What's that?
A show.
A show? Oh no, I'm up just doing usual house shit, chores and whatnot. But I just received my big ass television, so I had to step away for a minute.
What size did you get?
65-inch.
That's actually pretty decent. So that's actually that's a pretty fucking decent sized TV. What are you gonna do with your other one?
That's going to become my computer monitor.
I can dig it.
That's how TLO does it.
Okay.
And no, Pam, it is not see-through. It is an LG though, so the same company.
I can dig it. Sorry guys, I do look like a fucking robot. I'm sorry. So this is what Dwayne looks like for right now. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my tail. Yes, I have a tail on the back of my head. So, TLO, let's talk about the Insurrection Act here for a minute, okay?
All right, so let's talk about what's going on. Basically, it is an Uber clusterfuck. No matter how you look at it, no matter which way you lean, what side of the aisle, it doesn't matter. We're coming into some seriously crazy times. What's going to end up happening, as I said in the comments, the reason why they're doing the impeachment process is a show of force. They want to put it on record that they oppose him and they tried to kick him out. They're thinking long term for their political careers and whatnot, mostly because just like you said, there's only 7 days left. And to be honest, they could definitely just wait the 7 days and pursue whatever charges they want to after he's the president, no longer the president. And so, this is basically so it's on record, in history books that they voted to try and get him out.
Right. And that's the thing, me and Scarlett were on the phone last night. So here's my thing. we're seeing this, you know, this big push of force, right?
Right.
But
This show of force. That's in response to want to put what's on record. Going on. They oppose him and they tried to kick him out. Doing a little replay there. Or are you trying to do some Tenet action? But no, it's all getting kind of crazy, and like what happened at the Capitol, I saw coming. I mean, I don't know, like I'm not some like insider or know any of these guys that pulled this off, but I had a feeling that it was coming, and I'm surprised that nobody else did, given the situation, given the environment that we all live in, how tensions are raised. I think it's kind of like insider or know any of these guys. It's kind of what are you doing?
Jesus,
the best bits there.
Okay, sorry guys. I'm looking. Sorry, TLO. I'm killing you off the feedback.
Yeah, I keep getting like double me, but like in the past, like I'm in Tenet action or something. I don't know.
No,
saw the movie, was not impressed. It was good, but it was not as mind blowing as everybody made it out to be. All right, let's all calm down, people.
What movie?
Tenet.
Oh, okay. So I got people on Facebook saying because one, he'll be charged. Two, it causes more consequences and punishments for what the fuck he has done. Three, that's why. Four, I mean, like, one, can we really blame Trump for what happened at the Capitol? He said, "Let's walk over there peacefully." Okay.
Well, see, that's the thing, is it's all perspective and whatnot. And so like just him going out there, the opposition can make a case that he was inciting them, just by showing up. So what he said is kind of irrelevant. Basically, the progression of how things panned out is how people are just pointing the fingers. And, just like I said, like, I knew it was coming. So for people to sit there and say, oh, how could this happen, and this and that, and it's just like, no, just stop, and definitely stop with the pointing of fingers, because that's going to get us down more trouble. Because I firmly believe that part of this is just going to keep the cycle of violence and people hating on each other even further. Like, it would have been probably more wise for them to even proceed with one of the original plans, which was put forth to impeachment even after he left the presidency. After the first 100 days of Biden's presidency is what they were originally thinking. But of course, the hot-tempered, hot-minded young bucks like AOC and whatnot, it wasn't good enough. And so they are going ahead now, as I said, as a show of force, and it's just going to rattle and rile up the opposition, and it's just going to keep going further, because everyone played their part in what happened at the Capitol. Everyone. The Democrats played their part too, because they've been playing the game as well. They've been goading on people. They've been calling people names. They've been, accusing basically everybody who's got a dangly and is Caucasian for every atrocity in the world. And it is starting to get a little ad nauseum, because, like, I'm sorry, I'm a person of color. Actually, I'm a Caucasian too. I'm mixed, so I get to have fun with both worlds. But no, it's even a person of color. I'm sorry, I'm starting to get just the heavy notes of blame the white man, and it's starting to get a little old, because everyone has played their part. I've played my part in things that have transpired in the world. Dwayne has played his part, Scarlett, Tim, everybody. Like it's the whole world has to actually stop and deal with it for it to actually be dealt with, and not this sitting here pointing fingers and, oh, you're evil, and, oh no, you're more evil, and this and that, because it's not going to lead us anywhere. But exactly what happened transpired at the Capitol, and what may transpire in the future, because
Right.
just like I said, them putting forth the impeachment process now is just going to rile up the opposition. They're going to be like, look, they're trying to take our president away. They're trying to take over, blah, blah, blah. And it just feeds into all the narratives, like they say they want to shut down conspiracy theories and QAnon. And so they'll shut down Parler and all these other things and stuff, but they don't actually address like what the actual going ons is. They just want to sit there and be reactionary. They don't actually want to fix things or, maybe make things better for everybody while we're in this clusterfuck of a pandemic. No, they want to sit there and basically be a bunch of political dickheads.
Right. And see, that's where I was. See, TLO, and I love you, because when we get on air, we're kind of on the same wavelength for a minute. That's where I guess I was trying to get all along. Is the fact that we all need to take part in what happened, and so does Pelosi. Because I just want to branch this out here for a minute. She's in charge of the Capitol Police. Okay. Do you guys still hear me?
Yes, we can still hear you. As I said, I'm still doing morning shit. So
no, you're good. I'm just making sure you guys can hear me, because I know the Wi-Fi here sucks sometimes. And I gotta keep playing with my tail. So Pelosi's in charge of the Capitol Police. Capitol Police opened up the fence of two leading to the Capitol. Now, I do want to point this out here for a minute, because all y'all fuckers have somewhat lost y'all damn mind. I'm not calling you a fucker, TLO. I'm just like some of the people in the comments. If you're watching and you're a Trump supporter, I'm just gonna call it how I see it. The staging of the pushing into the Capitol, I believe, was staged, for one. And here's why. So we all kind of, Pelosi could have told the police, like, hey, don't open that gate for whatever reason. Right? Right.
Yeah. And I mean, there's evidence to point that people were being naughty and opening doors and whatnot. And that goes all across the board too. Like there's evidence everybody was kind of opening doors and whatnot. And just like you said, she controls the Capitol Police, and like, seriously, this woman is fucking leading some of the decisions for this country, and her stupid ass didn't think that there was going to be some sort of like counteraction to what they were doing at the Capitol, and to just be proactive and have them on high alert in the first fucking place. Like, see, that's what I mean, is everybody played their part.
Right.
Everybody allowed this to happen. So them sitting there and saying, oh, it was just Trump, inciting them and this and that. It's like, no, that's bullshit. Everyone played their part.
Right. And it's like people really don't understand. And two, what people do really need to understand. Sorry, one of my wires got stuck. I'm gonna do a thing real quick while I'm talking. So here, oh my god. So here's my thing that I'm gonna point out here for a minute. Sorry guys, I'm playing with the wire that somehow got literally wrapped around my fucking tail. I don't know how the hell this happened. Where's my tail? Okay, there's my tail. Yes, guys, you're seeing me call this fucking thing I have in my hand a tail. So, what everybody needs to can realize, okay, is that Pelosi, I'm placing 90% of the blame on Pelosi when it comes to the actual riot. Because, like y'all just heard me state before, she had full on control. Oh my god, that feels so much better. She has full on control of what them police officers did. Now, the one fucker inside that was actually doing his damn job, TLO, you know who I'm talking about, the one that was kind of leading people away from the chamber doors.
Yeah, the one they're definitely talking about on the news a lot.
He is actually a godsend hero. He did the right thing.
Well, yeah, obviously posing in selfies and whatnot with the protesters or the people who are kind of rioting or whatever is probably not the best of career choices. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. It never has been the best of career choices. So also, here's my thing too. Is, everybody, my family has told me, a lot of my family has told me, Dwayne, you dibble into politics for the attention. Dwayne, you dibble into politics for this. Dwayne, you dibble into politics for that. The reason I dibble into politics, me and TLO has had this discussion of why we do what we do here on the Freedom Revolution Network, is to bring you guys real news. I don't do it for the attention. I don't care if I'm sitting here like this, or when I'm at home sitting behind my desk, or I'm out there on the street. I don't care. I'm not doing it because of me. I'm doing it so you guys can actually have a decent, trustworthy news media outlet, is what we're considered, to bring real news. Uncensored news. I mean, now, 90% of the time when I'm out there on the street, I do get myself in a lot of trouble, and we've seen that. Right, TLO?
Oh, yeah. You definitely can find yourself into some tricky situations.
Huh. Freaky, I get in trouble half the time, damn it.
I call it what you like.
Sorry, I was looking at Scarlett's text messages on my phone. I'm actually have to switch over to my phone here in a minute because I can't use my devices while they're plugged into the wall while they're charging. Unless I'll get in trouble because it then disrupts these.
Yeah, you probably don't want to do that.
No, I don't. But I am hopefully getting discharged either today or tomorrow morning. So Dwayne will be set free, hopefully. I'll be set free.
Oh boy.
From this prison holding me. I'm joking. I ain't going down that road. I ain't hitting that route. But so like I was saying, it's like, guys, there's a lot of things we need to start paying attention to. We need to start paying attention to activity. God damn it. This tail of wires is about to piss me off. We need to... Huh?
It has drawn your attention.
Dude, it's had my attention for like the past couple of days. So we need to start paying attention to the relations between China and North Korea. I learned a major key factor this week that they are the two of their biggest allies. Is China and North Korea.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Where do you think North Korea got its communism from?
Right? Oh my God, Jesus fucking Christ. How bad are these all wired? Oh my God, Jesus. This is horrible.
You are in trouble now?
I'm having trouble with... I'm just starting to get really uncomfortable.
As I said, it's kind of drawn your attention.
Dude, it's had my attention for like the past 5 days, 2 days. God
well, It's definitely very noticeable,
It's
especially in this
irritating.
time.
So I don't know, guys. It's like we gotta start paying attention to North Korea and North. Like I said here, so it doesn't bother me as much.
Well, that shit's a long time ago, Dwayne.
Pay attention to North Korea and China.
Like, seriously. That ship sailed a long time ago, Dwayne. That geopolitical battle was lost a long time ago, to be honest, which is, some people might say offensive to veterans, but when Korea happened and when we left, and everything went down, it kind of set up for what we see today. We see a lot of areas and a lot of countries that have already proven, let's just say, their untrustworthiness as far as maintaining their current borders,
Right.
and not trying to do a little bit of, pre-World War II Germany on the sly, a la, Crimea comes to mind.
Right. Definitely.
So let's all bear in mind that this is all played out for quite some time, and especially the structure with what's going on with Korea, with China. It's kind of its own kind of cluster over there. And to be honest, yes, we do have to pay attention, especially more attention to it. But they all kind of have their own issues and stuff going on that it might not even touch us until, just like before, a la World War II, we got drawn into it.
Right.
Because China right now is pissing off 3 of its neighbors, and one of its somewhat, I wouldn't say ally, but definitely their resource, one of their resources, with Australia and their trade partners. We'll just leave it at that, because they do some trade. But since that's kind of dried up and relations between the two countries are really starting to kind of come to a head, because I do believe there is approximately 30 Australian ships with oil in them or something parked in the ports of Beijing, and I don't think they're being allowed to leave. So there's a lot of animosity going on there. Plus, China is seriously pissing India off. Like, seriously pissing. And that obviously is not a bee's nest that you really necessarily want to start poking. So right now, I don't know if necessarily, like, we do have to keep an eye on things, but right now they're somewhat embroiled. The only thing I would advise people is to keep an eye on Taiwan.
Yep.
Like, most of the people say, oh, well, Hong Kong democracy. Nope, sorry.
Nope.
Hong Kong democracy left a long time ago. Like, I'm sorry. The minute China was handed over Hong Kong in 97, that was it. Like, you like, all these people thinking that it was going to be this beacon of hope, of capitalistic Western culture, to fight against this communist nation. No, they shut that shit down. They shut that shit down. Like, literally shut that shit down. They are literally throwing people in prison for life for basically saying, I don't like this government, and that's it.
Yep.
So yeah, democracy is gone from Hong Kong. So what people need to pay attention to right now is what's going on with Taiwan. That's the big one right now. That's the focal point of most, I would say, the most contentious military focal point right now
Yeah.
because Russia's increased its patrols over the Bering Sea. We've seen obviously China expand out with their little man-made islands, their little militarized islands. So like that whole area in the South China Sea is probably the biggest kind of worry spot if you want to, think about geopolitical and, any sort of strife, major strife between countries. Because we have shit going on everywhere. I mean, there's still stuff going on in Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Somalia, and all those guys. They're still having that big thing. There's still some strife going on with what's that Boko Haram or whatever, Boko Haram. I don't know, but
Oh, I
they're
know what
still
you're
over
talking
there.
about.
Yeah, they're still over there. Just deciding on a whim to go and clear out schools of their children to try and probably put them into slavery or indoctrinate them or all sorts of probably nastiness. There's some bad shit that happens over there. So there's still that. There's still the kind of the strife between, as I said, there's a little bit of this strife with India, China, and it's pouring over into like Pakistan, Kashmir, all those things. That whole little area right there is kind of really tense right now. And then you still have a lot of the kind of the uprisings in South America, with Venezuela and whatnot. There's still, constant struggles down there. But the main focal point of any major contention would be the South China Sea. So that's at least my opinion.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, we also, a country tale I'm surprised you didn't even talk about. Start watching Israel and Pakistan again.
Well, no, Israel is kind of puffing out its chest just to anybody. So like their neighbors, obviously, Palestine. You've got the UAE, who's not too happy with them. Saudi Arabia. I mean, like the list kind of just goes on, and they're not they're not they're not adoring themselves to any of their neighbors. Is basically what it comes down to. So yeah, that place that area is also another area to look at, but they have been obviously constantly in crap for a very long time, even before I was around. So
Right.
that, has been one of those things that's just ongoing, like the slow burn. And I mean, yeah, you see Israel puffing out its chest. Yeah, you see people back and forth, and you do see increase in rocket attacks. But I mean, there's always been rocket attacks. I can't even tell you, like the days when I was growing up, when I was young, like even younger than Dwayne right now, like they would constantly, it'd be like a fucking weather report about the rockets over Israel.
Yep.
Like seriously, it was every day there's at least 2 to 3 dozen rocket attacks. Like
Yep.
seriously.
You would get breaking news.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be breaking news because it'd just be so ongoing that it'd just be like part of their daily thing. Oh yeah, like seriously, you can go back and look at some of the reports back in the late 80s
Oh
and
yeah.
90s on television, and it's basically just like them. And you can go to their country news, and it's like weather reports. Like they're just going about their news, and every day they're like, oh yeah, and then this rocket attack killed this many people and this and stuff. It was like seriously like a weather report.
I mean, when you really sit down and you fucking think about it, who wants to consistently hear about that? But the reason I brought up Israel and Pakistan, the reason why I said we kind of really need to watch what they're doing, is because of the fact of the peace treaty that was signed. You see where I'm going with that, TLO?
What was that?
Because of the peace treaty,
Which peace treaty?
the one that
You're
was
getting like
signed
really
between
muted.
Israel and Pakistan,
Like I can't even, I could barely hear you.
the one that was signed between Israel and Pakistan.
Ah, yeah. Well, they basically write peace treaties over there like they write love letters. So they're kind of just thrown about. Like I honestly, I mean, I couldn't give a shit about any of them over there because they all basically do it to themselves, to be honest. Like,
Right.
of course, they go back and forth and they say, oh, and now we'll be friends. And, basically 10 years later, they're like literally bombing the shit and killing each other. So it's like, I'm sorry, I don't have the most sympathy for them.
No, but here's what I feel when it comes to this. If they start going back and forth at each other again, TLO, it's gonna be catastrophic.
How so?
I don't think it's gonna be the little fucking barrier fights that they had. I think one of them's finally gonna breach soil and say, "Look, I fucking had enough. This is what's about to go down, and you're about to become my bitch."
Well, yeah, and then, Israel will probably fall. And there's not really anything that would happen or transpire from it either, to be honest. I mean, look at what happened, as I said before, with Crimea. Like Russia basically just waltzed in and took over an entire country, and nobody said boo.
I mean,
like the UN was like, "Oh, that is just so rude," and that was about it.
yeah, good point.
Like seriously. So what is the world gonna do if Pakistan is gonna walk into Israel? Like seriously. Like what is the world gonna do if China and India go at it? Nothing. There's not a damn thing anybody can do and probably would do. Like would the rest of the world try and jump into the fray? Probably not. They'd probably be like, fuck you guys, you are all cut off.
Yeah, like y'all on your fucking own. Like fuck you.
Yeah, no, seriously. And just because of the world that we live in now and the way that we have it set up, as far as globalization, because we've become this like organism more so than just like countries working together. We all sort of coexist and need each other in certain ways and aspects. That if one or two of us start getting that provocative, I find it very hard that everybody else would go down that rabbit hole, especially with the day and age we live in, especially with pandemic going about and taking out entire populations. I don't think people would really be jumping at the bit to go in and march along with anybody else, down that road. So,
Yeah. So it's a hot mess at this point.
exactly, as I was saying before, it's kind of a cluster.
So I don't know, man. Like I'm at my point going like this is what's happening, and we have to accept it. The world is unfortunately basically coming to an end.
The world as we know it, or as we used to know it, that's coming to an end. The world itself is probably not going to implode.
Well, I mean, eh. Depending on which way you really look at it. Because there's so many ways this world could go right now, and none of us would truly even, I don't know. This is gonna be like a whole nother show topic tonight, guys. Because like I'm doing another show tonight if I'm still here. Because I'm gonna sleep deprive myself. Because if they don't get what they want, Dwayne has to put himself in more harm's way, which is unfortunately doing. Said that.
Right.
So
Oh, she thought she was going to die. Oh, poor thing.
what the hell are you watching?
No, it was just a push on my phone because it's brand new. It gets all sorts of stupid random pushes, and Yahoo News reported AOC. Oh, I thought I was going to die.
Oh my
It's like,
god.
well, I can't imagine why you go about and calling people names and this and that and pissing people off. Yeah, you're bound to, have some fans in that manner. Like, I'm sorry, I've been in the security business at nightclubs for a long time. Even I have some people out there that probably would like to take me out. Actually, I know that there is because they tried to take me out. Ended up in the hospital, but I was out in less than a week, and well, fuck you.
They've tried to take you out since we've been friends.
Yeah, exactly. They've been trying to take me out for a long time.
All because you don't like what a man said. Like Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what day and age we live in is like, there's a lot of good reporting on it on YouTube with a lot of people, some influencers, people in the gaming culture, people in the movie production business and whatnot. A lot of people are just kind of like at that point with it all because they're just like looking at these people and they're like, one good one to check out on YouTube is Altiori. She's actually pretty entertaining as well, pretty cute. But she kind of tested to this not too long ago, I believe. Within this last week, she had a posting and talking about people and their vitriol and how like if you don't agree completely with what other people say, they literally go after you like almost like after your life.
Yep.
And it's getting kind of crazy. It's getting kind of crazy, and people are just playing and feeding into it, and that's the point, and that's why more people need to wake up or see those videos and kind of say like, yeah, we do need to calm down.
So I mean, like, here's the thing, guys. Before I decide to draw this little clusterfuck of a show I decided to do to an end. That wasn't really a clusterfuck. It was a good hour show.
That was definitely shooting from the hip.
Yeah. You know what? We've done worse, TLO. We have done worse here in the Night Talk.
True.
We have came on the show with absolutely no topic, but at least the tone was set when you got here. I will say that at least the tone was set when you got here. And I had something in mind.
Well, it's always good to have a good starting point.
And you know what? So this just kind of came to my mind too. So it's like, okay, so here's my thing. I really don't think the election was stolen.
I don't think it was either, to be honest. And I'm sure some people hate on me for it, but that's the whole point is like, we've gotten to the point where it's like, oh, you disagree, so now I hate you and stuff like that. And it's like, this is not how a country is going to be able to function, people. Like, it doesn't matter, like, if you want Medicare for all or anything like that, like, the country is not going to function if you're sitting there and all you're doing is literally warring with each other. Like, seriously.
Right.
I keep putting this out there. It's like, in these last 4 years, nothing has really been put forth to like make things really truly better for America, because everyone's just been busy fighting each other.
Yeah.
And that's not why we elected them. Seriously, people, like, look in the mirror and ask yourself that. We elected these a-holes, and all they've been doing is bickering back and forth. Nothing has gotten done. You know, a lot of people say that we botched the pandemic. I don't think we botched it, but I definitely thought we went half-assed at it. You know,
Yeah, I
like
agree.
I don't think it was done very well, but I definitely think we, you know, for our slips, we made up for it.
Yes and no.
Well, you have to think there's still a lot of places that, you know, even though they've gotten out the second dose, there's still a lot of people still dying. So
I mean, that's what I was just.
if we can nip it in the bud and whatnot, I think we could probably do it. The only concern is the fact that there are concerns now that there's these different variations and the virus is now looking to be mutating in all sorts of fashions, and all it takes is one or two mutations to stick, and ones that, you know, whatever this vaccine does, you know, as far as creating the antibodies, won't be enough. And so, like, that's the worrisome part, because they just came out and said, the CDC just came out and said that herd immunity is not going to be achieved anytime in 2021.
Oh no, it's not. That's the thing.
So we'll be running around with masks and social distancing for at least another year or so, at least.
Too.
And that's going to continue to wear on the public and the people. And so, yeah, now is not the time to be sitting there and puffing out your chest. Now is not the time to sit there pointing fingers at each other. I mean, I'm sorry. What I get to do all day at my job, I basically watch over people. You know, I monitor the situation at a building, basically. So if, you know, there's no emergencies going on, I get to kind of preoccupy my time, and I usually do that by looking at news articles. And let me tell you, folks, I have never in my life seen as many articles to the effect of people literally just snapping.
Yep.
Like, I can't even tell you, like, just the other day I saw something where, like, I don't know, this woman killed her kid. Like, literally just got sick of the kid and, you know, decided to kill it. I was just like, whoa. And then I saw something where some kid went off the rails because his parents wouldn't let him, you know, spend a bunch of his time on a gaming thing. And, like, I was just like, okay, so this isn't good. And then I saw another one where, like, some Uber driver just literally got shanked out of the blue. Like, apparently, like, just said something to this guy and doesn't know, he didn't think it was offensive and just got shanked. And so, like, people are literally just losing their minds. So now is not the time to sit there and call each other names, sit there and get in each other's faces, because it's going to happen. What happened at the Capitol, and more so, is going to happen if you continue to do this. If you continue to sit there and say, oh, you're, you know, communist terrorists, or, oh, you're right-wing fascist, you know, bigoted people, you know, that's just going to get people to the point where they're just going to snap, and we are going to have ourselves a civil war. And so, like, it's going to be a self-manifestation, because we're just sitting here and we're just bickering. And that's what I keep trying to tell people, is just stop it. It's like, as I said, I think in a previous show, I to this day, like, I have no problem sitting and eating with my enemy. Like, no problem at all. Like, that's the thing, is we've lost civility. Like, there used to be days where you could seriously sit down with someone that you absolutely loathe and have a meal with them and just, just be there. You don't have to enjoy it, obviously, but you just be there, and then you
Right.
leave. And then that's it. There's no bickering, there's no throwing shit, there's no getting mad and shanking each other. No, that was it. And
Right,
like
like I
we've
did all
lost
my
that
ex.
sense of detente, and it kind of sucks.
I can sit down and have a meal with my ex and my kid and go like, hey, that wasn't that bad.
Right. Just, you just keep it civil. Like seriously. And like all of that has been lost, and it's super sad because I will say, as a proud American, that's what we need to be great again, is we need to get that back, because that was what made us great. That's what made us inclusive, is ideas that we didn't like, but we would still just be. Like, that's the whole point. It's like, obviously there's some cultures that are a little standoffish. It's like, if more cultures would be more embracing and outgoing and saying, okay, look, this is actually what our culture is about, and not all these misconceptions, that would also be a better thing. That would also help the world. And as I said, everyone needs to play their part. Everyone needs to change what they're doing, because all we're doing is, it's leading us down this dark path. It really is.
Right. So, like, guys, like, I'm going to give you the greatest example of what TLO was saying. So, TLO is not my enemy, but me and TLO has had some disagreements.
Right. Yeah, like we have similar opinions, but not the exact same, and that's not necessary for us to be friends. That's
Right.
the whole point. That's the whole fucking point, is you don't have to have the same exact opinions, the same exact reactions to things in the world to be friends, to be associates, to work with somebody, to know somebody, like all of that. It's if people want to get all weird and whatnot, it's a construct. Like, if you want to be
Right.
all technical, break it down, be all university and whatnot, it's a construct. So,
Right. But me and TLO are friends, anyways, because we learn to put our differences and our opinions aside, even on here. As you guys can hear, we have similar opinions. But go back through a lot of shows, like I'd say at least a good 2 or 3 shows, guys, and you'll hear where me and TLO has literally sat there and argued about it because
oh
we
yeah,
agree with it.
we've argued about stuff. We've all argued about stuff on this channel, and that's the whole point. Is we are friends. We have similar opinions, but they don't have to be exactly the same.
Like if I don't agree with TLO or something, or I'm not understanding what he's trying to get at, I'll have him dumb it down more. He'll laugh at me because I have to do that with everybody. He just sits there and waits till I ask to dumb it down, which is funny. Like I said, don't get me wrong. Funny as shit.
Right. Right.
I don't know why I just went into full screen. But we literally, after a show, we'll talk about it over the phone. We'll go like, hey, like, I'll apologize, like, if I said something wrong. Like, hey, I'm sorry for being a dick. Which there's been nights, guys, that Dwayne's literally had to apologize for being a dick. It's actually quite normal.
Doesn't happen too often, though.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Because sometimes
let's keep that in perspective.
Because sometimes I don't need to apologize for being a dick. Sometimes I have to be a dick to get my point across.
And see, and that's the thing is, I mean, if people are all out there and saying everybody needs to be themselves, everyone needs to have that freedom and to express themselves, and some people express themselves by being dicks. And so, like, we have to keep that in perspective. How there's a great scene, a great episode. Oh yeah, House, MD television show, and it was about this. It was a case where this girl had been assaulted, and like she kind of is coming out to house, and he doesn't understand why, and most everybody doesn't understand why, because they're like, why is she, trying to share emotions with one of the most emotionless guy, or the kind of angry grumpy guy. And
Right.
like they're going back with all these like theological discussions, and he has this great moment where he talks about lines. It's like, where do we draw the line? Which assholes do we allow to be this much of an asshole? How much of an asshole can be this and that? And so, like, unbeknownst to a lot of the people in the world and the population, they're already doing that just subconsciously, just because they're grading and they're assessing all these people. I don't know if it's because everybody's used to just looking at people's bios or profiles online, but it's really this weird sort of pick and choose, and we're doing that with people in our lives, and we're doing that in how we opinionate ourselves, how we form our opinions, how we form our judgment on people. And like, it's just gotten, all the wires are crossed. And so, yeah, we need to figure that out. But we need to realize that there's just people that are going to be, bad. There really is. And like, for me, I'm a Taoist, so I come from the aspect that, of course, there's going to be bad people because there's good people. There has to be a balance. There's opposing forces, the yin and the yang. And so, like, you can't sit there and say, oh, we're going to just enlighten the world and change the world and everybody's just going to be good. That's not how it works. And to sit here and go on this weird agenda and to focus so much of our lives on it is what's making me sad. It's like, we used to be into so much shit, man. Like back in the 80s when I was growing up, like, kids used to dream and think about all the possibilities and stuff like that. And now they're like just worried about whether they have he, she, him, her, all those little things in their bios, and whether or not their friends have it, and whether or not they're all part of this inclusive thing, or whether or not they're progressive enough, or whether or not they're conservative enough, or this and that. And it's just gotten to be bullshit.
Right.
Like, we haven't gotten anything done. And you're trying to tell me that, we can do all these things and we haven't been able to get back to the moon? We should already have a damn moon base up there by now. Like, seriously.
Right.
Like, but no, we're sitting here bickering, we're sitting here being a bunch of dingleberries to each other, and we're not getting anything done. Like, seriously. That's why you see like these guys who are, hey, viewed as somewhat assholes are going out and they're being successful, is because they're not worried. They're not participating in a lot of that shit. And so they're able to get a lot of shit done. And I will use Elon Musk as an example. I mean, he is now the richest. He has supplanted Sir Bezos as the richest person on the planet. And it's because he's just been persistent. He's just worked at it hard. And he has. He's one of those guys that probably only sleeps like 3 or 4 hours a night, if that. And he goes. He makes deals. He thinks about shit. Thinks about more shit. And that's the thing, is like, he doesn't spend time worrying about everybody else's shit, and so he can work on his shit and focus that energy on that and be able to create all this stuff, be able to make the new basically future of our space force or whatever.
Right.
Because they're going to be going to SpaceX to do most of the heavy lifting for making the new space station. They've already admitted that. NASA's got like almost no funding. So where's it going to come from? The private sector. And it's going to come from Elon Musk.
Right.
And so, like, yeah, people, stop sitting there bickering with each other. Stop sitting there worrying about what other people are doing. And maybe we could be creating all shit. We could be already curing cancer. We could already be going to Mars and having a colony there. Like, we could already be doing these things. We seriously could be, but we're still stuck on each other and our other each other's failings as far as it goes, and it's stupid because we all have flaws, and to sit there and nitpick them, that's all we're going to do is just waste time nitpicking.
Right. If you know what, and guys, on New Year's, and you can ask TLO because TLO just kind of chuckled and smiled. When it hit 1 o'clock my time, what did I play, TLO? I played We Are Family, right?
Right.
Then can we start acting like it?
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Is like we don't see my family, like we don't all have the same opinions. There's all sorts of vast different opinions. We all still get together, we get down. And I do believe I can say for most people and their families, that's how it used to be. I know a lot of political things have divided families, and that's kind of part of my point is we're allowing this all to like destroy ourselves, destroy our families. It's like, oh, well, you know, this person, you know, likes Trump or whatever, so I'm going to hate on him and I'm not going to talk to him anymore. And like, great. So now what? So now you're not going to talk to your family. You're not going to be a part of your family just because of that. Like,
Right.
that's a really weak family then. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. But it's pretty straightforward. A family should be through thick and thin. It's your blood, man. You should be there for them.
Right. Like I'll give a good example because my game's starting to piss me off. Fucking Washington Redskins, goddamn it, fucking bastards. That's besides the point. You know, like a lot of my family doesn't have the same religious beliefs as what I do, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean I ain't gonna stop talking to them.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean I'm not gonna stop being friends with them.
Yeah. Doesn't mean I'm going to stop loving them. They are still my family.
You know, like me and TLO ain't the same religion, but we consider ourselves family.
Correct. And that goes for anybody.
You
Like,
know,
it shouldn't matter on that. It really shouldn't. We shouldn't be basing our judgment of people on just whether or not they go to the same church. Like, you know, people say, oh, we're, you know, progressive and oh, we're educated, but they act like a bunch of chowderheads because they don't do that. They don't adhere to that. They actually are like opposite of that. And they go
right?
about and they say, oh, well, this person's wrong, this person's bad, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, stop it. We should be better than that. You know, people say, oh, America is better than what happened at the Capitol. It's like, yes and no. We are better than that, but only if we choose to be better than that.
Right.
Because it comes down to choice. That's the whole thing is people are choosing to be this way in both
You,
sides. So like choose to be a better person, choose to be more accepting, to say that you're inclusive and actually be inclusive.
right.
Like,
You know,
seriously. Thank you, BJ. BJ and Pam have been agreeing with us in the comments.
Yeah,
So,
I know. My nurse was walking in the room. That's why I said, give me 1 second.
yeah, no worries.
You know, it's like I have learned to love people for who they are. Because I want to admit something. When the BLM protest was going on, I hated everybody. A lot of people, like TLO, even had to had me step back. TLO, you remember this phone
Yes.
conversation? Like, dude, what are you doing? Take a step back and look at the person you're becoming and catch yourself.
Yep. Correct.
Because I was becoming somebody I wasn't.
You're getting caught up in it.
You know, so guys, we get caught up in everything that's going on in the world. Which has been
Obviously a lot, but just don't, because what happens when you get caught up in a strong current? Especially, hey, say, especially out, say a rip current out in the ocean. I know not everybody has an ocean that they're by, Hell, I've only been able to see an ocean a few times in my life. But even I know when you're caught in a rip current, you don't try and fight it. You
You go
try
with
and go against it
Yeah, you
on the
go with
side. You try and swim out the side and you don't try and like exert much force. It's not about like going in the opposite direction. And imply that in life. Because
right.
life is like a rip current. It will take you out and like you'll get swept up by it. We've seen that all over. It's happened to a lot of folks. So don't sit there and go in the opposite direction and try and fight it, swim against it. You go, what is it, parallel to the shore, and you just, keep swimming. And eventually you will actually get out of it.
Or just go with it.
Well, you could go with it, but there's always dangers with that. And that's the thing is you get caught up in that and you get caught under, you get swept too far out where you couldn't swim back, like, and be seen. Like, so you do have to do something, but you don't fight directly against it.
No, never fight directly against it. Never do that.
Thank you, BJ. That's a good one.
Life is a lot easier if you decide to love others. God damn it, and look forward to the good. Go with the flow and veer towards those things that help you find peace inside. Amen to that.
Right? Exactly. It's like we all have to be better people, but we have to start by being better people to each other. Like we really do. Because if we just get caught up with all the vitriol, all the pointing fingers and being angry and stuff like that, we aren't really going to get stuff done. We really aren't. Like, trust me, I have anger. It's seething, but I'm not going to let that prevent me from accomplishing my goals, and I'm not going to let that go against accomplishing goals for the rest of the people around me. Like that
Right.
isn't fair. That's very selfish.
Yep, it sure is. Oh, shit.
Well, I should probably let you go here, Dwayne. You've been on here for a while. You need your rest. You're in the damn hospital.
Nah, dude, I don't need my rest. I need to stay awake, which is why I'm doing one of these. But you know what, guys? I am thinking I'm going to pop off here and then I'm going to call TLO or take my Tylenol because I do want someone to talk to. But guys, thank you for tuning in for the special edition of the Night Talk, guys. I will catch you tonight with me and TLO. Hopefully, me, TLO, and Scarlet will be on. Hopefully, we'll be on for like more than an hour. But guys, I will catch you in the meantime. TLO, you got any last words?
Be kind, and remember, no matter where you go, there you are.
All right, guys, from the seas to the skies and the country made by God. Good night, people.